All right, Bridget, welcome to the Advanced Wealth Strategies Professional Spotlight. We are thrilled to have you be a part of today's event. I feel like insurance is one of those things that people love to have but hate to have at times. And so getting some education, I think, can be really important. Before we get too deep into some of the questions, I'd love to just learn a little bit more about your background. I mean, I guess I know a lot of it. However, the participants don't that will be watching this or that are joining us today. So why don't you give us just a little bit of a brief background of your work with Acrisure, what you've done as a professional in the insurance world, and really where you see yourself being a specialist.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Aaliyah. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. I've been in insurance. I got my start, back in my mid-20s. I started with Allstate, selling auto and home insurance. From then, I moved into the brokerage space, working for an independent agency, where I again did PNC. I've done PNC for over 20 years. The last 5 years, I ventured over into the health insurance space, and I've been helping individuals with their under and over 65 health insurance. And I've also been
Yep.
working with business owners doing small group health insurance. Um, I I've really worked for just a couple of companies. There have been great companies. My first employer was Allstate. My second was Kemner Benz, who was acquired by Acrisure, who is currently my employer, who are just exceptional employers. They do the right thing. And then I started working with Aaliyah. I think I met her about 5 years ago and have been helping her with, in the individual space, Medicare and under 65.
Oh.
I'm from
You've been a
Michigan.
huge resource, by the way. Let me just plug that though and say you've been an incredible resource. So I'm really glad that we're doing this exchange today and being able to promote more of what you've done to help those that we work with.
Yeah, thank you. I specialize in Medicare and under 65, like I had said. I'm a Michigan native. I've worked here in Ann Arbor for it's been about 10 years now. And that's where I met Aaliyah.
Perfect. Well, let's just dive into it because I know this is a big topic, insurance. And so I see this being a couple different facets. I want to talk about individual insurance, pre-Medicare age, business insurance, and what you do for those that own businesses. And then let's also talk about Medicare age insurance and how that all works. And first, let's start with the individual insurance. So, someone's, let's say, retired or doesn't have healthcare offered through their employer. There's the marketplace that they can go to. Obviously, they can reach out to an agent. Tell me, like, your best advice for someone in that type of situation.
Sure. Yeah. If you're not offered group, if you're going into the individual space, whether you have an employer or you're getting ready to retire, I would definitely find an agent. I would reach out to an agent. You can go online and you can go to the marketplace, but an agent's going to be able to help you, navigate the carriers, the plans, and also if when you today health insurance is it's based on your age, and the marketplace is a government system that's set up to be able to help you um, meet your health insurance, have your health insurance premiums meet your income and where you are. So if you go onto the marketplace and you put your income information in, you could potentially qualify for a subsidy, which is a monthly reduction in your health insurance premiums. And today, most people qualify for some type of a subsidy, whether it's $100 or $900. I always recommend we look at the marketplace, And going to an agent versus going directly to the carrier or going to a marketplace, there's no additional cost to you. We're here for you as a resource. And and if you're because our premiums are just 100% based on age and tobacco use, but really primarily age is the biggest factor. If you want to retire at 50 or 55 or 60, as you get closer to Medicare age, your premiums, increase. And so planning for what your health insurance premiums are going to be in retirement can be a huge factor, as far as, the money that you need to save or set aside for those health insurance premiums. So pre-planning is really important.
Agreed. And that's something that I recommend for individuals that we're working with is that this is an expense pre and post 65. So talking with an expert and finding out what coverage makes the most sense for them is really important. You mentioned a couple of incredibly um, valid points that most people don't think of. And one is you're not charged extra if you use an agent. So while some people feel like, well, I can go online and I can figure it out, same thing with homeowners, auto insurance. The people that make less is the insurance company because they will pay the agent versus they'll make more because the premium costs the same if you don't have an agent. But you're just leaving yourself underrepresented to know that you don't have someone that understands your situation, the types of medications that you're taking, the coverages that you're looking for that can help you navigate through those choices, and also have someone to be able to call if and when there's something going on that you need to get a question answered. So I always recommend using an agent because of the fact that you are the person that understands and can help people navigate through that type of space. The other piece that I think, well, I mean, it's all very, very important, but another piece that I feel like people are unclear of, and this happens more in retirement because but it happens pre-retirement too for investors, especially, is that when they're on the marketplace, if they're not using an agent, maybe they're just putting in their salary or what they bring in net, they're not maybe pulling up all of the information that's on their tax returns or completely calculating what dividends or interest or shareholder distributions might be coming out or all those other income components that can change the subsidies. And so when you go and you through that process, if you don't have someone asking you the right questions, you might over or underpay because you haven't put the necessary information in. Would you agree with how that
Yeah,
can look?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, knowing exactly. You want to have someone who can help guide you through that. And then when it comes to, Medicare, when you're getting ready to go on to Medicare, your Medicare premiums for Part B are based on your income. So, also, planning ahead of getting ahead of 65, if you have a big sale or a big, investment transfer, those type of things you're going to want to avoid or at least know about ahead of time.
Absolutely. Well, and whether you choose Part B or a different type of plan too, which is an option. Most people are unclear that they can go out and get a different type of policy versus just having all of their health coverage through Medicare. So let's switch gears. Let's talk about we're 65 or we're approaching 65. I know one of the questions I get often is when to apply. And it's my understanding, and Bridget, you can tell me if I'm wrong, it's 3 months before your birthday, the month of your 65th birthday, and 3 months post that you have to apply without any sort of penalty. Is that correct?
Correct.
Perfect. I'm glad I'm not saying the wrong things to people.
You're right.
And that they haven't changed anything since I last knew that to be true.
Yeah.
So, I do feel like pre-planning is important, but that's also just due to who I am as a person and someone who's a proactive planner. However, I think one of the common misconceptions is that Medicare has to do everything for you at age 65. So can you help explain what you have to do, why you have to do it at a certain time frame, and then what the options are besides the piece that you have to do?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you turn 65, if you have to enroll in Medicare Parts B and Part D. So we've got A, which is hospitalization, which most people automatically qualify for as long as you paid into the system for, 40 quarters or 10 years. And then Part B, you pay a premium for, which is your doctor's visits. And Part D, you also pay a premium for, which is your prescription drug plan. So when you turn 65, you're required to enroll in Part B and Part D. Um, unless you're a part of a qualified employer group plan. So if you're still working and you're a part of a group plan, or your spouse is still working and you're on their group plan, um, is if it's a qualified plan, then you don't have to enroll in Part B. If you aren't a part of a qualified plan and you don't enroll in Part B or Part D when you turn 65 down the road, when you enroll in them, you will pay a penalty, and you'll pay a penalty for the rest of your life. And it'll be prorated based on the time that you didn't enroll, the time period that you weren't enrolled. And
That's a
so, and
big
then
deal. That's the rest of your life.
the rest of your life. Yeah. And so, some people, there's information that you get on Medicare, but I always recommend finding someone who can help explain all of this to you. Um, because I do have people who that situation comes up where, they didn't know that they had to. They don't take any prescriptions, so they didn't enroll in Part D. And then down the road, they ended up, they're paying this penalty. So that's a big one. And then also there are some caveats around funding your health savings account. So when you're turning 65, or when you're coming off of an employer group plan, mostly it's when you're coming off of an employer group plan. Um, if you're already 65 and then you're on a group plan, you'll want to stop funding your health savings account
Oh, yeah.
6 months prior to enrolling in Medicare, or you'll pay a penalty. They'll pay a penalty back at, I think it's 6 or 9%. You'll pay back for funding that HSA. So yeah, there's a lot of little caveats that could be helpful.
Let's go back to that for a minute.
Sure.
So some things that I've read before is it's a prorated, that it's like, well, if you've worked 6 months out of the year, then you're eligible for half of the maximum contribution for the year. If I'm hearing you, you're saying, while you might be eligible, you really need to have made that deposit 6 months before turning 65.
Well, when you're turning 65, there's not a penalty. So sorry if I
Gotcha.
made that. Yeah, there's not a penalty if you're coming off group and you're turning 65. If
Okay.
you're already 65, so say you keep working past beyond age
Yes.
65,
Got it.
that's where the penalties come in.
Got it. And I'm aware of that. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page so
Yeah,
that anyone listening, whether they're listening now or listening in the future, as we'll post this on our YouTube and other socials, that they've got that understanding. Yeah, and that can be a big deal that you're now get a penalty. And we generally want to avoid as much as possible any sort of penalties or interest to the IRS or to anyone else. So I would
yeah.
agree with you on that. Again, these are all small caveat pieces that people don't feel like they um, understand as much. I talk about from the financial side of things that people know how to accumulate, but they're never trained to distribute wealth. We're so used to saving. And the same, I think, goes for health insurance, that we know how to select options on group insurance. We've done
Mhm.
it our whole lives, but when it comes to this next phase of life, the uncertainty is very real. And so we generally recommend that someone speak with someone who is a Medicare agent. And I know you have a team at Acrisure, and that for many years you've been specializing a lot in this Medicare space. You're still in it for this year. I know you've got a partner, Wendy, who will be doing a lot of it come 2027, which is lovely. I love that you have this big team to be able to lean into. But we do really appreciate individuals who are able to help in this insurance space. And you've done many things within the insurance space, not just medical insurance, but also there are different things that you help with as it relates to employers too, and some of that side. Could we learn a little bit more about for those business owners out there, what tools and resources you recommend for those that are owning their own companies?
Sure. We like to approach a business and what their needs are around their employees at managing their risk. So we have a team, we have a risk resources team, as far as setting up your employee benefits, we have some systems that make it easy through payroll, through a benefits platform, and really just getting to know you, your business, um, you know, where, where the areas in your business are that maybe we need to focus on and help you through. And, just really get a plan together for you with those.
Yeah, so when it comes to the business side, there's liability insurance, right? Making sure that you're covered in the type of professional experience that you're offering or services that you're offering. Outside of that, I think some things that people don't think of as often are things like an umbrella policy, cyber insurance. I mean, that's
Yeah.
got to be a big one right now. Could you give um, just some education on the risks involved with not carrying cyber insurance in the event of a hack, or how you've seen that play out in the business world?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've seen where we've had, whole airlines shut down because their website was hacked. Cyber is, one of the biggest threats that we have today. It puts you at risk of losing your website. It puts you at risk of, compromising your client's data, which really also puts you at risk of just losing, an entire day, a week, a month, of business, having a cyber attack. And today they're really, really good at hiding, or, they'll, you know, through email that looks really good, like
Phishing, yeah.
yeah, phishing, which looks like it comes from, your employer or someone that through someone calling you, and asking you for information, and, posing as, a boss or a fellow employee, and it's urgent. There's many ways. So our site, our cybersecurity programs, we have a whole risk resource department, which has tons of videos available to all of our employer groups, to help them, to train employees on safety in the workplace, cybersecurity, um, you know, uh, among, with the different, terrorist, attacks and stuff that we have going on, um, just resources around all of that for your business.
And is it true that, again, I'm dangerous in some of these spaces, but I know when to lean in and verify information. Is it true that if your client's data is breached, that you're on the hook for 2 years of identity monitoring for each of those people?
Yes, yes, you could be on the hook for at least 2 years of yep, the monitoring, and
That's
fines, and yeah, so
it's
much more.
expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very expensive. Yeah.
Okay. So again, a reason why you want to mitigate that risk is by using some sort of policy like cyber, along with, I think the umbrella policies can be good, along with your normal professional liability. Now, beyond that, so those are more risk mitigations, you do some work with businesses as it relates to creating group benefits, correct? So this
Correct.
is our cafeteria plan, our medical, our
Mhm.
dental, our vision. Any what are some of those things that they would check on those boxes? What are the type of benefits that you generally offer for business owners?
Sure, sure. We offer, we write small group up to, large companies. The benefits that, we can do self-funded, level funded, traditional plans, depending on the business and their employee demographics. We also, we can set up your dental and your vision coverage, your ancillary benefits. So those Aflac type coverages, the supplemental that fills in some of those deductibles. We have a lot of creative options. We also offer some gap plans, which are really popular today with the rising cost of traditional health plans. So we can put you into like a higher deductible health plan and then put a gap plan in there. And that is like a supplemental group plan that will cover that deductible. So we have a lot of different strategic ways that we can help employers with that. Also, life and long and short-term disability are really popular with employers. The life insurance is great to have with your employer because, if you don't qualify individually, you don't have to qualify to be a part of a group life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the disability, short-term, long-term, is great if someone goes out on maternity leave, to have that short-term or that longer-term disability policy is a huge benefit to them. So we offer all of that on top of HR resources. We have 401(k) plans for groups. Trying to think of it, payroll. We have a lot of different services that the whole spectrum of services that we can actually offer. We also are in the real estate world now. So, there's some things that we can do with that for businesses looking to purchase buildings.
That's a lot. That's a lot of information. And I feel like for someone in your field, I have to imagine how difficult this would be to do it all on your own. If you were an independent agent sitting
Yeah.
at a desk in your home office to have to know all the different pieces. Can you tell us a little bit about how Acrisure works, being a part of this larger firm, how that team approach and things really helps ensure that the clients are protected?
Yeah, I mean, we approach everything as a team. We all specialize. So we have our risk resources team, our HR team. We have our benefits teams, our personal lines. Everyone specializes in their fields, and we all come together and work together for each one of our clients so that we make sure that we bring the expertise and, we're advising them to their benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know we've almost hit the 30-minute mark. Is what else, or if anything, have we not covered that you'd like to make sure that we touch base on?
Um, I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah.
I think we have. I don't I can't think of anything else.
Well, I
We've
guess
really
the
done a good
last
job of.
plug that I would do is it's free to talk to you. So as a reminder, it's free to talk to you and it doesn't cost
Yes.
you more when you have an agent. So if you have questions, if you are a business owner looking to review your options for your benefits, if you are an individual that's on the marketplace without representation from an employer currently, if you're someone looking to retire before age 65 and get your own plan, if you're someone hitting 65 that needs their plan. I mean, basically anyone out there who needs insurance, you're a great person to reach out to. You're someone that I've felt confident over the handful of years that we've been working together. Not only do I feel confident in you as a professional, but I also really admire you on a personal and philanthropic level. So Bridget and I have known each other for years through a women's organization in the Ann Arbor area. And it's always really wonderful to work with people who care about others and who are giving their time, talents to organizations such as the Women's Exchange of Washtenaw. So I really do just admire and appreciate you on so many different fronts, Bridget.
Oh, thank you, Aaliyah. I feel
You're
the
welcome.
same. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
very welcome. Well, thank you. And again, everyone, Bridget Robinson from Acrisure Insurance. We will have all of her contact information in the details for this post so that you can reach out to her at any point. Do know that things get a little crazy, October timeframe for you with Medicare. So
They do.
proactive planning can be really helpful. The next few months, I think, are a great time to reach out and try to make sure that you have all of the information you need to make an educated financial decision about this really important space in your world. Thank you again, Bridget. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Aaliyah.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.